Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Wednesday, June 17th, 2026 Board of Douglas County Commissioners 5:30 business meeting. Paper copies of the agenda are available on the table back there by the door you came in, and a full packet with all available materials is on our website as always. Reviewing our full agenda, first we will consider our consent agenda, which has a total of 5 items this evening. After that, we will have general public comment. We welcome general public comment for addressing issues that are not on today's agenda, but otherwise related to county business. Given our limited time and the need to have an orderly and efficient meeting, we apply certain rules regarding public comments. We will do our best to enforce these rules consistently and without regard to the point of view expressed by the speaker. Each speaker will be limited to a total of 3 minutes of speaking time. However, we will accept public comment of any length in writing. Individual speakers may not donate unused time to other speakers. All comments must address topics within the jurisdiction of the County Commission, and we reserve the right to mute or remove any speaker whose comments are threatening, aggressively hostile, or belligerent. Campaigning for public office during the public comment period is not allowed. Please give your full name and residence for our meeting minutes if you're comfortable doing so, and please address your comments to the commission. We will hear from people in person first, then we'll look to our Zoom meeting attendees. If you're online, please plan to use the raise your hand function. If you do wish to provide public comment virtually, and staff will move you in. Please also know that comments received by the commission during our meetings do not necessarily represent the views of Douglas County government, but we value the input. We don't usually respond to general public comment on the spot, but if you leave your contact information with county staff, we will try and get any specific questions answered. After general public comment concludes, we will move on to our regular business agenda for tonight. There's just one item for this evening on our regular agenda. For each action item, we will hear from staff or an applicant first, followed by questions from the commission, and then we will open the floor for public comment that is specific to that item. Once public comment is concluded, we will bring the item back to the commission for further discussion and a vote on action items. Lastly, a recording of this meeting will be available on the county's YouTube page and website. With that, commissioners, we actually have a proclamation to kick us off this evening, which Commissioner Willie is going to read for us, and then we'll welcome some guests up.
Thank you. We have a proclamation for Douglas County Juneteenth celebration. Whereas Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration of the ending of slavery and dating back to June 19, 1865, the day on which Union soldiers landed at Galveston, Texas, with news that war had ended and that all slaves were now free, even though President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years earlier. And whereas Juneteenth has become a tradition of celebrations that began following the reading of the proclamation by General Jordan Granger in 1865, this lasted over 150 years, and today is hosted in cities across America, featuring rich traditions, including celebrations in the form of festivals, parades, and oral histories. Also known as Freedom Day, it has continued to be a highly revered event across the country as a time honoring one another and the memory of those who endured slavery, and especially those who moved from slavery into freedom. And whereas Juneteenth allows people of all races, nationalities, and religions in cities across the country to join hands to acknowledge a period in our history that shaped and continued to influence our society today, and whereas Juneteenth celebrates African American freedom while also encouraging self-development and respect for all cultures, whereas Lawrence and Douglas County will commemorate Juneteenth with a number of events on June 19, 2026. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Douglas County Commissioners of Douglas County, Kansas, hereby proclaim and celebrate June 19, 2026 as Douglas County Juneteenth celebration and call upon all residents, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to commit our community to increased awareness and understanding of our shared history and how it shapes our lives today. Adopted this 17th day of June, 2026.
Thank you, Commissioner Willie. That does deserve applause. We welcome our Juneteenth Lawrence guests to come on up and share any additional information you'd like for us and the public to know. Make sure whoever gets to the mic first, Janine, to press the button so you see the green light and then it's live for you. There you go. You don't have to hold it.
Okay. Hello, my name is Janine Coulter, and thank you for this proclamation. The awareness that happens in this community with Juneteenth is just incredible. We have people that are coming in from Washington, from Texas, from Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, just that they're coming back. Some that were residents that grew up here, but some where their lineage shows they, their family was here, the genealogy. And this means a lot to us. Douglas County has so much rich history, and we love sharing it with this community. We have a 2-day event this year. We have the Emancipation Proclamation Freedom Day, which is going to happen on the 19th at South Park, where we're giving back to the community. Everything's free, from food to the activities. This is all volunteering, and it is absolutely wonderful. This year, we've had more young people engaged than ever. So our essay winners will be reading their essays there. They were incredible. It was very hard because there was such a large turnout, but because we do use the technology to score them and everything, but it's just wonderful seeing young people come out and engage like this. On the 20th, we start with the Underground Railroad, which is sold out, which is free. Then we go over to 7th and Rhode Island to do our parade. This parade is so multicultural. It really shows what a community should look like, a sense of belonging. So it is going to be really nice. Then we have the vendors, we have the live stage, we have the information tables. We have the children's corner. In the children's corner, everything is free there. We got Sporting Call Valley down there. Kids are going to do starter plans. They get to design their own t-shirts. It's just a lot of fun down there. And we have our Douglas County commissioners. They're going to be in our parade. Yes. So thank you for this. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the other members with the Juneteenth organization.
Didn't know I was going to speak. But anyway, I'm vice president of Lawrence, Kansas Juneteenth, and I oversee the essays that the students bring in. I'm a retired teacher here in Lawrence, and so it was overwhelming because we had like 15 entries, and we had to break that down to 3, and it was very tough. So I'm very, very excited about our essay writers, and that's all I'm going to say because we only have 3 minutes.
And I'm
Annette, you
Vivian
have the floor.
Sanders, and I am the treasurer of the organization. And I would just like to say thank you. And it is going to be a marvelous event. And we've had to turn away people because we don't have space to put everybody. So thank you. And please come down and join us.
Yep.
Yeah, my name's D. Kemp, and I am just a member. And I'm a member of this community, a member of this city, a member of this county. So it's a blessing to be here and to receive this and to be a part of this. So we will see you on the 19th and the 20th. So if you're watching, come on out. It'll be a great time.
Thank you all for your work. We really appreciate it. And you always throw a great community party, and we're excited for it. Thanks for including us in the parade.
I had
We've got
a
your
comment
proclamation
for
to
the
take.
treasurer. I was at your fundraising event a number of months ago where Kevin Wilmot spoke, and I thought that was a great event, and I hope that's an annual thing.
We plan on it.
We couldn't even finish that evening, and everybody's like, okay, what about next year? So like we said, we do focus on education, and we try to, it's not just about the celebrations. We do educational work as well, but that was fun. That was
Yes.
fun. And thank you for
Yes.
attending. It was a very fun evening. And just being in the Carnegie Building with
Yes.
all the history that's in the Carnegie Building. I'm sorry, you guys, I am Douglas County. Okay, so I love the rich history.
Thank you all. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Here's your proclamation. Thanks for the jovial start to our business meeting. We appreciate your energy. With that, commissioners, we are on our consent agenda. Does any commissioner wish to remove anything for further questions? or comments?
Um, I just had some real simple questions on 2.1, 2.2, and 2.4.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dorsey. Anyone else? Is there anybody in the public who wishes to remove anything from the consent agenda for further questions? Any raised hands virtually, Sarah? Okay, bring that back to the commission for a motion for the outstanding items.
I move to approve consent agenda items 2.3 and 2.5.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Right. Commissioner Dorsey, we'll we'll start with item 2.1.
Yeah, for Adam, it looks like we're approving this without a list of properties. So I'm just wondering, does that come later or how does that work?
No, excuse me, there's no list that comes with the approval. It's just the approval for this to allow the attorneys to start that process. So we usually don't send a list. We do have a list. It's roughly 113 properties. But this is just for the attorneys to start their process in the tax sale.
And then during that process, do people end up paying?
Yeah, so we started this process last year. We went through it, I think in February, started with a list of 120. We're now down to a list of 8 properties, 5 of which are vacant land, and 3 do have homes on them. So
Thanks.
it gets, 120 to 8 what we're at now.
Okay, so you're saying you currently have 8 properties? Okay, and have you begun the process of contacting those individuals yet, or you're not at that point yet?
For the current one of the list 120,
Or the list of 8?
the list of 8, yes, we've already contacted. It's currently, I think with the attorneys, they have filed it with district court. And so they have contacted everyone they can. So they kind of dig in quite a bit of who was the owner, who's listed on them as the owner, going to descendants and things like that. So they dig into the list quite a bit.
Okay, and that would be from our list of last year, correct? The list of 8?
Correct.
Okay, and then that'll begin the same process moving in, that you'll begin that same process this year, then moving into 2027.
Correct. So this year,
Okay.
like I said, we have the list of 113. We send out communications, attorneys send out communications, customers will come in and pay, and that list will drop ideally below 10 is usually what it comes back to. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on 2.1, commissioners? Okay, thanks, Adam. Since we pulled this off the agenda, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody here have public comment on consent agenda 2.1? Any raised hands, Sarah? Okay, I'll bring that back. I guess I can actually, since it's multiple items, we can move through without doing a vote per. Let's make a motion in each
Oh,
one.
each
Okay,
one.
yep.
Okay, I move we approve agenda item 2.1.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, 2.1 passes. Moving on to 2.2, Commissioner Dorsey.
Yeah, we had a proposal a few weeks ago that had a line item for furniture or equipment. I was just going to suggest maybe you hold back a limited amount of furniture in case we hire people that need furniture.
We've got plenty to choose from and not a lot of storage space. So we'll do the best we can.
Yep, thanks. Any other questions?
Nope. For me, we'll open this up for public comment. Anybody have public comment on 2.2? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back for a motion.
I move we approve item 2.2.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And 2.4, Commissioner Dorsey.
I guess,
Chad joining the panel.
oh, I was going to ask Sean, but okay. He's there. Can you hear me, Chad?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, thanks. Hey, I just had a simple question. With the increase on the actual cost, is it still coming in below your original estimate?
It's coming in well below our CIP estimate, which was fairly conservative. That was 460,000. And we're still under 300,000. So we're doing really well in terms of CIP budget. And it's coming in somewhere between the low bidder and the next bidder. So, this is a pretty small increase on a fairly small project.
Okay,
It's not gonna be trouble in terms of budgeting.
thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? Are you done with your questions, Commissioner Dorsey? Okay. Anybody have public comment on this item? All right, bring it back to the commission for a final motion.
I move we approve item 2.4.
Second.
Been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, staff. We'll move on to general public comment. Is there anybody here today who would like to provide general public comment for items that are not on today's agenda? I see two folks. Come on up.
John M. 66049, regarding the proposed, what the purveyor called the proposal for social detox bed partnership. Sorry, I missed some of the work session, but based on the proposal and the written proposal, I felt like there were some issues that I wanted to speak to. Number one, a substantial portion of the chronic homeless population suffers from substance abuse disorder, which generally means they are addicted. Nationally, approximately 38% of homeless individuals abuse alcohol and about 26% abuse drugs. Among the population of chronic homeless in Lawrence, the police believe that that percentage is much higher. The May County dashboard shows the registered chronic homeless number at 133 with 21 inactive, which sums to 154 souls. The actual number would be higher if individuals never registered were included. The Avalon proposal to the county is to act as an overflow for the TRC. The TRC has 16 couches, beds for chronic patients. Avalon proposes to offer an additional 4 to 6 beds for social detox with an average stay of 2 days, as stated in their briefing. With a combined addicted chronic percentage of 64%, which is a low estimate, and a total number in need of 154 souls, a low estimate, this proposal, TRC plus Avalon, is accommodating at best 22 addicted individuals, which is 14% of the 154 souls. The additional 4 to 6 beds for 2 days is not much of an improvement, and 2 days will not cure anyone's substance abuse disorder. Neither the TRC nor Avalon is providing sufficient treatment for overcoming addiction and attaining recovery. The Avalon proposal does not offer metrics indicating the success of the service and treatment programs for the homeless that are provided. The proposal only offers an accountability metric for bed utilization, which is insufficient in addressing the addicted population. The new city manager, surprising for Lawrence, agrees providing a shelter with a bed is not enough to solve homelessness. People also need wraparound services like mental health treatment, which I've spoken to many times before. Better to use our county dollars to provide actual drug rehabilitation and recovery treatment, which can take months, not years, and agreed is expensive, but that's what's necessary, with metrics showing measurable improvement in our growing homeless population's living skills. Thank you.
I'm going to set a timer so I can speak over. All right, Eric Hyde, 66046, Douglas County. So I came here today because it has come to my attention that there is a silent sort of economic war going on, and it applies to both Democrats and Republicans. And it basically deals with corporate welfare, and the way it affects the county is it's going into cities. And I think the only way that you can stop it right now is you have a 30-day window from each public notice given on tax increment financing zones that you can stop. And it's important to stop these things because it drains the county of lots of money. So, and you know, a lot of people are complaining about property taxes, Republicans and Democrats. So what I keep seeing happening is the mill levy keeps increasing, and I don't really want to do that anymore. Nobody really wants to do that anymore. My grandma was a Democrat. She lived on Massachusetts Street. She was always complaining about her property taxes. She's not alive anymore, but I'm sure if she was alive now, she'd be really pissed off. So I mean, this mill levy stuff, increasing it, these notes I have, I mean, we all know it, but I'll say it anyway. It drains homeowner equity, crushes small business, which we like in this county. It forces hiked rents on working class tenants. And you guys are mandated to protect regular people in this county. So I'm asking you to just try everything you can to stop these out of state and secretly Wall Street investors that are coming in and trying to buy up places in the town where that money, we think it's staying here, but it's not. About, I don't know the exact percentage, but let's just call it 90% is being exported out of this town. So that's not helping us. It's forcing us to pay more, regular people, even wealthier people. So, I mean, that's all I really wanted to say. But I also wanted you to know that Lawrence, the anti-slavery people, they were Republican. And the Democrats joined them and got Abraham Lincoln elected, and the Emancipation Proclamation happened because they joined the Republicans. I don't have any more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anybody else here who would like to provide general public comment? Okay, see no one here. Any virtual hands, Sarah? All right, we'll bring general public comment to an end and move on to our one and only regular agenda item, which is a planning item. And we will welcome our planner up.
Ellie Mullins.
Ellie, thank you.
Ellie Mullins, Lawrence Douglas County Planning. Yeah, let me move it.
Bend down the top of it.
Oh, okay.
That's the best height.
Got it
Just-
now, I think. Okay. Ellie Mullins, Lawrence Douglas County Planning. I have a short presentation. I'm gonna get that pulled up 1 second. All right, 1 second. I'm having trouble finding it. I did send it in, yes.
Okay. Robin, you have to kind of tell us to specifically load it. Oh,
It should be in the top right-hand corner, Sarah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, found it. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So this next item is for the approval of a site plan off of North 1800 Road for a landscape and lawn care business. Site plans in the county are reviewed by staff and then require approval by the commission. So we've seen a few other applications come through for this property in the past, including a rezoning to the light industrial district. And then we looked at a plat as well to create this subject lot, which is 18.5 acres. The proposed development includes a new building, a parking area for employees, and rear exterior storage. So here's that parcel. So here you can see the overall site plan on the left, and then a more detailed view on the right, showing that concentrated development up at the north along North 1800 Road. So here on the right, we can see a more detailed view with the building here, access right here off of North 1800 Road, and then the parking area, and then this exterior storage area off to the rear. So the proposed use is a landscape and lawn care business, and it is permitted in the light industrial district with no use restrictions. The proposed exterior storage is permitted as an accessory use as long as it is screened from adjacent right-of-way and residential properties. So the plans show a screen wall to the area to the north from North 1800 Road right-of-way, and then screening from the residential property to the east is to be satisfied by a line of existing mature trees and vegetation. The plans do include a note that if that vegetation is to be removed to the extent that it no longer effectively screens the exterior storage, that the property owner will need to find an alternative method of screening the exterior storage. As well, at the time of platting, it was identified that additional fire protection capacity beyond what the rural water district was going to be able to provide was needed and would need to be established based on the eventual type of development and what that looked like. So the applicant worked with Consolidated Fire District Number 1, and the plans show a 4,000 gallon cistern and a 6-inch dry fire hydrant connection to satisfy that protection. So this slide has the site plan review criteria for approval. And discussion of each of those was included in the staff report included in the packet for tonight. Staff found that the project meets the approval criteria for a site plan in the county, and we recommend approval of the site plan. Right, that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Ellie, commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, where's the water coming from that goes in the 4,000 gallon cistern?
The applicant might be able to better answer how that all works, but yeah, I'll let him speak to that. Yeah.
I think that is a good reminder that we actually should offer the opportunity for the applicant to come forward and provide any additional information in addition to Ellie's presentation, and then commissioners can ask questions of staff or the applicant. Do you have any additional comments you'd like to make? Sorry, Ellie.
Good evening, commissioners. David Hamby with BG Consultants representing the applicant. Appreciate staff's work on this. We've spent many, many months coordinating with the various agencies and are at the point today where the site plan is now recommended for approval. This is a use by right in this zoning district, and so we're looking forward to approval on it. Worked with Evergy. They have a big easement across the property. We work with the Rural Water District, work with the fire chief and the county engineer to secure access, so and the planning department. So went with a lot of different agencies to get approval for every one of those, and we've addressed all the conditions on the plans. So to answer your question, it does have a cistern. The rural water district would not provide fire protection for the project. And so this is meant as a substitute for that. We worked closely with the fire chief. He said that he was comfortable with a 4,000 gallon cistern that will be filled slowly from their meter. And so once it's full, it stays full, it's buried. So it's just has to be maintained full. So shouldn't be a problem. It can be filled at any rate. And then that will provide supplemental fire protection for the building. And the fire chief offered that, he has a fire hydrant on the city system a mile away. So if he needs to run furry trucks to bring water in, he can do that as well. It is a steel framed building, so there's limited fire potential on that. So, all of these factors come into play as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
What is a dry fire hydrant?
So
is that
that
something
just
you can hook up to and draw water out of the cistern?
exactly. So there's not water up into it and have a freezing risk. So that's connected below. It'll have a valve on it. So the fire department will open a valve and then pull water out. It won't be pressurized, but they have the suction capacity to pull the water out of the cistern.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Commissioners, other questions for the applicant or for staff?
I have a question for staff, but it's probably best for John. And that's just, if you're willing, is to talk about, this is new for us in terms of the fire code and this interpretation and needing the cistern. The only other instance that I know of was Berry Plastics, which was before our time, but a very different use and scale. I know there's going to be other stuff after this that we unpack, and this is nothing to slow down the application whatsoever. It's just, I think maybe we need a little primer in how this came to be as a requirement.
Sure. It's actually within our zoning code. There's a alternative that when water is not available, that there's an alternative means to do that. So in this instance, the cistern was what was recommended, and that's shown on the site plan. So I just want to be clear that this is actually already in our zoning code. Where it gets into the NFPA or the National Fire Code is that there's a specific section, I can't remember, I think it's 1192, that talks about water suppression within a rural or suburban area. So there starts to become a little bit more nuance into that. We do not have that adopted. That's why I want to be clear on that. However, that is a good default, and that's what Chief Mathis looked at, as well as our Chief Building Officer, Terry Elmer. So they work together to review this. So again, this is coming about because rural water does not have the capacity to put a suppression system inside of this facility. It is required in our building code. Because of the assembly group. I'll get a little technical on there, but because there is a heightened risk for fire in this type of use, this fire suppression is part of the requirement. I do want to be clear that on the site plan, it's a 4,000 gallon minimum. So the design of that cistern is yet to be determined until a building envelope is put together. So that's part of it. The 6-inch connection is just the size of the nozzle that Consolidated Fire uses. So they can go in, hook up with an engine, run the pump, and then pump the water out of the cistern. But for the purposes of what's on the site plan, it was part of the recommendation was to include a note and specifically the location of the fire protection, which is the cistern at 4,000 gallons with the 6-inch connection.
And so it's based on use as well as zoning. It's not that all industrially zoned properties require this. It's the combination of the use with the zoning. Is that?
So there's two parts to it. Again, the zoning code kind of has the underlying rationale that there needs to be fire protection there. There's an alternative if a utility can't provide it. And then you get into the building code, our ICC, which we have adopted, International Building Code. And that starts to get into the different types of assembly groups. So that could be an industrial use, that could be a residential use, a commercial use, and so on. And there's different parts of that. So it starts to become a question of total square footage as well. So that's when I say this is a 4,000 gallon minimum, that's somewhat incumbent upon, or reflective rather, on the size that we believe this building will be. But I think Ellie's worked with Chief Mathis to clear up that as part of the permitting process of the building, that will ultimately dictate it. But again, a 4,000 minimum, I think, is what's been talked about with the applicant. And that's all been, I think, all approved for, from that standpoint.
I don't have any questions. Thanks.
All right, seeing no other questions from commissioners, this is an action item. All agenda items get the opportunity for public comment. So thank you for being here. And thank you, Ellie, for the presentation. Is there anybody here who would like to provide public comment about this item? Anybody online, Sarah? Okay, we'll bring it back to the commission for any further discussion, comments, or motion.
Pieces of this in various forms. This is not a surprise to anybody, and it's kind of led to some other conversations and learning places in our county code too. I'm happy to make a motion in favor if whenever the commission is ready.
Could I ask the owner to come up for a second? I don't believe it's in the landscaping plan, and I don't want it to be a condition, but could you put some pollinator plants and some milkweed out to help my friends?
Sure. We are in Douglas County, so yeah, we'd be happy to work those into the design. We actually added, it was not a requirement, but we actually added some screening along the front of the building. So we got plenty of real estate to work some of that in. So
thanks.
Happy to do that.
Luckily, you know a good landscape company.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So yeah.
Any other questions, commissioners? All right, go ahead, Commissioner Willie.
I move to approve site plan SP-26-0058 for a landscape and lawn care business located on approximately 18.5 acres to the south of North 1800 Road, based on the findings listed in the staff report.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much for your time this evening. With that, commissioners, we'll move on to our appointments. And this week, we definitely have a set of appointments ready for our, I didn't write down the full name, but our crisis system.
Crisis Response Community Advisory Board.
Thank you, Sarah. I wrote people's names down, but not the name of the board. So I just want to check in with commissioners and make sure we all received information about that. We've been anticipating recommendations to be able to fill all of those spots as the transition from the TRC advisory to this more broadly focused group has been made. So I just want to check in and see if any commissioners have any questions that they want to ask of staff at this time, or any reason to pause. Otherwise, I know that staff are eager to get these filled.
I just had a question. The memo talked about 3 or 4 folks that came up with these names. I presume they're remaining on the
Yes.
committee? And
Yes.
the other names are just additional people
Yes.
joining? Okay, thanks.
6 names is what I have, right, Sarah, for appointment?
But the group that vetted this is the existing members.
Yes, got it. Thank you for clarifying.
I read through the names and knew some of them and the balance of talents and experiences that are on there, and I was really pleased. So I'm happy to move forward with them.
Great. Well, I'm just going to make a bundle motion to approve, to appoint David Dearborn, Stacy Chamberlain, Craig Weinog, Susan Hadel, Sean Phillips, and Jolene Colin. Oh my gosh, look at me. I didn't write it back down. To
For the Douglas County Crisis Response
Community Advisory Board.
For the Douglas County Crisis Response Community Advisory Board. Thank you. It's a long one. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, great. Thanks, commissioners. Any other appointments on deck? I think we might have some more in future weeks, but not yet. Okay, great. We'll move on to Sarah's memo next.
Thanks, commissioners. My updated memo is included in the packet. Want to make sure we've had a lot of really great communications and publicity around the Algerian national team here and World Cup, and a lot of great kind of just communication for Douglas County and Lawrence. So wanted to include a link in there for you on that. Commissioners, we have begun the tenant eviction defense pilot update program, and there's some additional information in this packet about how that process is working so far and the dashboard that is being used for intake in that process. So I encourage commissioners to take a look at that. And then also you have the Douglas County Historical Society's annual report included. Commissioners, that's all I have. We do have a work session next week at 4.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioners, any questions for Sarah or any other miscellaneous items to bring up this evening?
I just had a question for Sarah regarding July 1st work session, CFD1 budget hearing. Will we be approving the budget then?
No, you'll be treating it like you would the hearings we have July 6th, 7th, and 8th. It'll be your it will be your opportunity to ask questions.
Okay.
And then the approval will happen in August 26th when we approve the regular county budget. But we need to have this before we set the revenue neutral rate hearings, and that has to be done by July 15th. So we're getting it in on the 1st.
Anything else, commissioners? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.